Good morning all. We are still doing the chapter Constitution. In the previous lectures we have done the philosophy and the making of the Constitution. Today we are going to begin with the topic Fundamental Rights. Now, Fundamental Rights of Indian Constitution. Part 3 of Constitution of India lists the fundamental rights and also mention the limits on these rights. In the past 60 years, the scope of rights has changed and in some respect expanded. All of this we are going to study in this topic of the chapter Constitution, the fundamental rights. So now let us look at various salient features of the Indian Constitution. Firstly, it is the integral part of the Constitution. Fundamental rights have been made as an integral part of the Constitution and hence they cannot be taken away by ordinary legislation. Any law passed by the legislature in the country would be declared null and void if it is derogatory or it is taking away the rights guaranteed by the Constitution. The comprehensive and detailed, these fundamental rights are comprehensive and detailed. The rights are in part 3 of the Constitutions and they are very, very elaborate. Each article has been described with its scope and limitation. Lack of social and economic rights. The Constitution guarantees rights which are only civil rights and freedoms. Rights like right to health, right to social security have not been included in fundamental rights. Rights are qualified. The fundamental rights of the people are not absolute except the right against untouchability. They are qualified with limitations and reasonable restrictions in the collective interest of the society. While describing the scope of each right, the Constitution also describes its limitations. Enforceable, that means the fundamental rights have been justiciable. That is, justiciable rights means if any of these rights are violated by government or individual or private agency, the individual has the right to approach the Supreme Court or the High Court for the protection and enforcement of his or her fundamental rights. Thus, the Constitution not only grants but also guarantees these rights. So they are if anyone's fundamental rights have been violated, they can go and ask these fundamental rights in the courts. Now, there are elaborate instruments of protection of the fundamental rights such as right to constitutional remedy itself, public interest, litigation, human rights commissions. Fundamental rights are amendable. Fundamental rights are not permanent. Parliament has the power to amend any part of Constitution including fundamental rights. The fundamental rights, despite having inviolable nature, can be amended by the Parliament subject to the basic structure of the Constitution. So, basic structure means the core features of the Constitution. The Parliament has in practice exercised this power on several occasions, like right to private property was taken back as a fundamental right. Provisions for the suspension of the rights. The Constitution provides for suspension of all or any of the fundamental rights during emergency. However, such a suspension automatically ends when the emergency ceases, when the President withdraws it. Constitutional superiority of fundamental rights. The fundamental rights of the citizens are superior to ordinary laws. We will be doing this in details, the difference between ordinary law and the fundamental rights and the ordinary rights or the ordinary legal rights. Special rights for the minority. The fundamental rights guarantee some special rights to the minorities of various kinds. This is apart from the guarantee of the secular nature of Indian Constitution. Cultural and educational rights have been guaranteed to them. It abolishes untouchability and makes it as a crime. it has also guaranteed special protection to women, children and weaker sections of society. There are no natural rights. The chapter on fundamental rights is not based on the theory of natural rights. Now we will be doing natural rights when we do chapter 5 of book 2 Paul theory. Basically, natural rights are said to be belonging to a man by nature and are inalienable from him. It is claimed that man possesses these rights even before the concept of state came into existence. So these are inalienable rights. That means these are the natural rights and cannot be separated from human being. Right to life, liberty and property. The Constitution of India does not give any recognition to natural or unenumerated rights. People of India are guaranteed only those rights which are mentioned in part 3 of the Constitution. Right to property, not a fundamental right. Right to property, which is the feature of a particular liberal democracies, is not guaranteed by the Constitution of India. The original Constitution as in 1949 did guarantee this right, fundamental right to property, as a fundamental right. However, because of hindrances posed by this right in the way of implementation of some social economic reforms, a right to property was deleted from the list of fundamental rights. It was made a legal right under Article 300A. Thus now right to property is a legal right and not a fundamental right. So all these rights that are written in fundamental rights in Indian Constitution of part 3 of our Constitution we will be doing in details. But let us first understand the importance of the rights. We are doing the case study. The first is the case study of a poor construction worker. In 1982, during the construction work of Asian Games, the government had engaged few contractors. These contractors hired very poor construction workers from different parts of the country to make all the flyovers and stadium. These workers were kept in very poor working conditions and were paid very less. And they were paid even less than the minimum wages decided by the government. A team of social scientists studied their poor conditions and petitioned in the Supreme Court, saying that a person who is working for less than the minimum prescribed wage amounts to beggar or forced labor, and it is the violation of fundamental right against exploitation. The Supreme Court accepted this plea and directed the government to ensure that thousands of workers get the prescribed wages for their work. So there was a violation of rights provided in the Constitution and it was challenged in the court. So as a result, workers could get what was due to them in form of their rightful wages. The Constitution guarantees of right against exploitation ensures justice to the workers or the laborers. The second is the case study of Mechal Lalang. You can see in the picture, it is freedom at the edge. You can see the documentary. It is it is available on YouTube to view. So this movie, this documentary was also made on the basis of the life story of Mechal Lalang. He was 23 when he was arrested. He was a resident of a Chubari village of district of Assam. He was charged of causing grievous injury, but later he was found to be too unstable to stand a trial and was sent as an under trial to Lokpriya Gopinath Bardoi Mental Hospital in Tejpur for treatment. He was treated successfully and doctors wrote twice to the jail authorities. Once in 1967 and the second time in 1996. that he was fit for the trial, but still he was kept under judicial custody. He was released in July 2005 when he was 77 years. So he had practically spent 54 years in judicial custody, and his case never came up for hearing. He could only get freedom when a team was appointed by National Human Rights Commission to invest into the inspection of under trials in the state. So we see that our constitution has given right to life and liberty, and that every citizen must also have right to fair and free trial. But when we see Michel's case, that these rights, he was not able to enjoy these rights. So many fundamental rights in the constitution are available, but many times they are not followed in practice. So we are going to do, so we have understood that how important these rights are, and we will be doing them in details as well. You can go and see this documentary, Freedom at the Edge, directed by Anisha Sharma. Next topic is the Bill of Rights. The Bill of Rights is in practice in most of the democratic countries of the world. Such a list of rights mentions and protected by the Constitution is called as Bill of Rights. A Bill of Rights prohibits government from acting against the rights of the individual and ensures remedy in case there is violation of these rights. When we talk about Bill of Rights and we look back at Indian history, the Motilal Nehru Committee had demanded the Bill of Rights as far as in 1928. So even the Indians, when we were under the British rule also, we had asked for the Bill of Rights. It was therefore natural that when India will become independent, the Constitution was being prepared. There was no two opinion on the inclusion and protection of rights in the Constitution. The Constitution lists the rights that would be specially protected and called them the fundamental rights. So we see that in most of the democracies you will find the Bill of Rights or the Declaration of Rights or Charter of Rights, and it is the list of the most important rights to the citizens of that particular country.